One interesting thing that I have noticed is that you may develop your art style when you're just starting art. Like, my art style, well, part of my art style is caused by this one artist on Instagram called Com Mang. I've seen a lot of his art mainly in YouTube shorts whenever I'd watch, art videos and all that stuff on YouTube, and then his stuff would just appear on, you know, on the reels, and I just click it because his art looks so interesting. And the way that I see it is his lines are just perfect. He has very confident lines, which I really like, and I really liked his art style. And I don't know, that kind of likeness from his art style, I kind of absorbed a small amount of it. Not very much, but sure, a small amount. Another example I would say would be High Key Art Zero. His art style can be very similar to Bleach art, Naruto art, very much those types of art styles. And his journey, I his journey I think started off not long ago. Well, his account didn't start long ago, but sure, his art styles were very similar to tons of things. It can be his art styles range from realism, semi-realism. It's very much Bleach very much Naruto like Boruto, and good shading, and he doesn't do much. Rarely he does digital art, but I mainly see his posts do just paper pencil art. And I realize there's a lot more people that are able to kind of absorb, not really copy, but take over, the art style, take over their art and their art style. And sometimes you do a type of art style that is just obviously easier for you, and it just makes you change the way you do things. It may make your work way faster, or I don't know, just easier. But sometimes easier can come with a cost. For example, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Bleach, Naruto. Well, probably not Naruto, but tons and tons of similar art styles have come to light, and very much repetitive facial structures, not really body structures, but mainly facial structures. I can go back to that in High Key Art and in Komag with Komang, sorry, which in Komang, his facial structures are literally identical, mainly in female. They're really similar. They're roundish. Sometimes the chin is a bit more pointed. Their hairstyles sometimes range to difference. Most of the time they have bangs or hair in front of their face. And in Haikyuu art is like all these different types of characters, mainly like fan art type of characters like Sasuke, Naruto, Boruto, like Sarada, just all these like different types of characters, like from anime in general, but they all match a certain style. Um, not really matching the style exactly, but there's like a certain extent where you see his art style. Like you can see it whenever he does perspective or just like a little fan art of like Invincible or Omni Man or Thrag, and you could see it when he does like semi-realism, and it's just like absolutely fire. And I honestly love it, and I love that. Hey, he doesn't like just stick to the same face, and he just like going on to different animes and using different faces, and I really like it. And I feel like a lot of people should practice trying to do different faces, trying to do different facial structures on probably the same face, and sometimes different facial structures on different faces, so you don't get stuck being like Araki, which obviously he's the author and, you know, mangaka of JoJo's, which obviously since the beginning his faces have seemed pretty similar, but they were different, you know, different characters, different facial structures sometimes. But later on in the new parts in Steel Ball Run, the faces, and sometimes in his artwork, when he does the art for Gucci and all that stuff, he it's like the same facial structure. And obviously I'm not gonna talk about like body, like the form of the body. Yes, they do seem a bit similar in his art. Some of his art, the body is like a bit similar, but there's always different clothing. And I love his clothing. I love the way he just puts clothing, the way he puts clothing on his characters. It's beautiful. Like all this clothing is beautiful. But the thing is, I'm here to talk about faces. And one way you can help yourself in trying not to have same face syndrome, like like Araki and Bleach. Yes, if you're gonna do a manga or a comic, sometimes it's a bit easier if you're on a tight schedule. Obviously it's gonna be easier if you just do the same face and just to cut on time. But if you're gonna do ours, you're gonna make just, you know, your account for people to enjoy your art and stuff. Try to have interest, like bringing the audience. Don't have that same face, because sometimes having the same face and a nice idea, sometimes people will notice. Well, most of the time people will notice, and sometimes they will just like, oh, this is like getting repetitive, this is getting boring, I'm unfollowing. And that has happened to me with this artist called Yone Yamai. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly, but Yone Yamai, which her art is beautiful. It's just absolutely magnificent. And she's like, I love the way she does her digital art and all that stuff. But the thing is, the face is so repetitive, and she only does, well, from what I've seen, is female faces. And the thing is, same facial structure, same big eyes, same small mouth, tiny little nose, just an average anime face. And yes, her illustrations are absolutely beautiful, and I will never put down her art. But the thing is, I'm here to talk about the face. The face is the same. And maybe, I don't know, I feel like she's so amazing. But I feel like maybe I would love to see her do something different with the face and have still continue to make beautiful illustrations, but maybe like a different little face. And sometimes in her illustrations, I don't even see the full body. Like recently, I haven't seen any full body ones in her illustrations. It's mainly just the face. And still, obviously, her illustrations are top tier, but the face is the same. Is the same in everything. Another one I would say is kind of like Yone Amai, high key, because though it's not really going into his art and making his own original character and all that stuff, he still chooses to do like different facial structures. He doesn't stick to one face. Maybe he sticks to a face to make different poses and stuff like that. But it's always a different facial structure, and it's honestly, I gotta say, badass. And I feel like there's tons and tons of other creators that do stick with that because it's easier, just so they can keep on posting and keep on the algorithm and keep people liking, because that's the way they can make money off of it. But I feel like it's, if you want not only that, do not just make it easier on yourself. Just, I feel like you guys could like do better. Honestly, your art is wonderful, beautiful even, but I'm tired of seeing the same face in beautiful illustrations. Sometimes I feel like it can even, you like your illustrations can't even tell a story in it. And sometimes, yeah, the same face or whatever, but the illustration, like for example, yes, I don't care if you do the same face, but if your illustrations are similar and don't really tell a story, your art doesn't really tell a story, what's the point, man? Like, show people what you're imagining in your head. Like, spread your mente, like your brain, what you have in your head. Don't just like draw the same thing, the same type of illustration. I don't care. Like, honestly, I don't bother that much when it comes to that face. But sometimes what pisses me off, yes, you have that same face all the time, but what makes it even worse is very, very similar illustration, like background story type. Like, I gotta go back to Yone Amai. Her illustrations are similar. I love her art, but her illustrations, they just don't don't speak to me like they used to when I started to fall in love with art. When I was like infatuated, I was infatuated with her art, but then her art just started to get really, really boring to me, and it started to be the same. And I also gotta mention another artist, mangaka, a man, Miki, and the faces similar. They're the same, But what infatuates me very much about their art, like Yomei Mai art infatuated me. This a man Miki, the only reason that I followed him when I was starting my journey and falling in love with art would be the way this person draws hair. Like I've never read any of the manga stories that they've written, but I just love the way like the character is like they have a personality. They have a personality. They don't have that just because they have that same facial structure. Their character still gives that story-like appearance. And I really like it, and I really like the hair mainly. But the only reason I unfollow this person is because I guess I just got bored. Obviously I would follow it back, but I just got bored because of the same face, and I don't know. I wanted to see more illustrations from them, but obviously they're mangaka. They're not illustrators. They're not digital artists or anything like that. They're more paper artists. They don't draw like how do you say I don't know what's the word, but they mainly draw for their story, their manga, and for their comic. And I one day I'd love to read it. I'd love to, but I'm poor. But one day I will. But all I gotta say for them is beautiful hair. Beautiful hair. The way they do hair is absolutely beautiful. Like I don't know, something about it is just beautiful, and especially since it's like traditional art, the way they do it is beautiful. And it like I took some of that into my art. I took some of that inspiration into my art. The way they do hair, I'm like, I could use this because it's like they made it easier for me to do my hair. And I feel like I'm going all over the place in talking about it, but let's just get to the point. First of all, you can gather these people, these inspirations that you have from other people when you're just starting, and you take them into your art. You take them into your art, and it's like an inspiration to you to put into your art. And sometimes their art makes you think of stories in your head and be like, oh, and it inspires you to create this wonderful piece. But sometimes when you're growing and getting better, you start to see something different, like, oh, my faces, they're like the same. They're not giving me what the flutters like they used to. And sometimes you realize in the artists that you used to like, they just they're just like kind of like holding you back from getting like to a bigger, higher level in your art. A bigger level, a higher level. You could, like, I've listed off more anime type, more unrealistic type of, like, not realistic, more like of the semi to non realism type of art, because I don't want to do like realism. Sometimes I may go for it, yes, when I'm trying to do art for my mom and stuff, but you gotta understand, when you start art young, don't let easy art hold you back. You can branch out and be able to create different types of art and just combine them together to create even better art, where not only people will literally be infatuated with your art, but you get the followers, you get your people to love it and stuff, but you yourself, I feel like you yourself would be satisfied in your art and be like, oh, I'm not doing the same face, I'm not doing the same illustration. No, I'm not saying the same story over and over again. You're creating new stories and you're changing more lives. You understand? You don't gotta stick to the easy stuff. You don't gotta stick to the easy stuff. And you don't gotta stick to the easy stuff. You can make it difficult for you, difficult for others. It doesn't matter. Have fun with it and do great and amazing art. Don't hold yourself back in doing easier work so you can get faster followers. Bro, that takes time either way. Like, don't try to go the quick route. Try to be the best. Try to be literally better than all those artists that you used to look up to. You know? Because I used to look up to Young May Amai, this other guy, I forgot. Literally a list. That list. And I still look up to Haiki because, bro, I love his like art. Like, I don't know about his art style. I really, really like, especially since it's just like a sketching type of art. But not only that, to you can stick to the same face, a bit of the same facial structure, whatever. And you want to become a mangaka, you want to be a comic artist, you can stick to that. But don't stick to a common story. Create your own story that you have in your mind. In that crazy, crazy mind of yours, create the most crazy story. Don't be easy. Do not be easy. Create an amazing story. It doesn't matter what the audience thinks. Post it and you'll see that they love it. Don't be basic. Do not be basic. Do not be boring. Be creative. Like don't try to reach for fame fast. Don't try to make and create the same story of people that already reached their fame, because they themselves created a story that was in their head and they were the ones to be creative in their own story, and that's why they're famous. Do not copy them. Create your own story, and you will see that you will be probably and most likely even better than them. Yes, you may look up to them now, but one day you'll be standing there on the top, on the throne of one of the best mangaka comics. You understand what I mean? Do not be basic. Yes, take inspiration from them. But do not copy them. Be different, bro. Like, obviously, take inspiration from them. Grow from their mistakes that you see. Of the same face, of all this, same illustrated. Yes. And then grow. Be like the beanstalk. Grow fast. You got this. So, yeah. I hope you guys watched this long video, because truly, I believe in you guys, and I believe in myself as well, that we can all grow and be creative. Like, as inspiration from Invincible, be invincible. Yeah. Don't let fame or trying to be famous bring you down. Don't worry that your art, yourself, your love for your art will bring you to the top. So don't even worry about being famous. Alex out.